So be sure to follow along all day long. You know what to do.
Yeah.
Subscribe and
Ring the bell. It's so important. I have to tell you, we do this every year from Roofers Coffee Shop because we feel it is so important that everyone be able to have a part of National Women in Roofing Day. We know there's a lot of women out there who aren't able to make it.
Right.
And we want you to be a part of this, and so does National Women in Roofing. They are our huge supporter. We are very thankful that they have us here every year so that we can do this.
I know.
I
Yeah.
know.
Get a little taste of it at home.
Yeah, get a little taste. It's going to be a great day, so enjoy. Please put your comments into YouTube so that we can hear we can see what you're thinking.
And where you are. Where are you watching from?
Yeah,
Tell us.
what are you doing? And also, I'm sure you're all going to be on social media too, so we'll be monitoring all of those also. So stay in touch with us today. Just because you're at home doesn't mean you're not a part of this great day.
That's right.
So it's going to be starting pretty soon, about a half hour. So
Good morning. Not live yet. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to the show. I just have one pre-game announcement. We are truly grateful this year to be able to bring content during one of the breakout session tracks, as well as our keynote in Spanish. So huge round of applause. I'm so excited. I want to thank CPlast for donating the headsets, and I want to thank Kimberly Santiago with GIF for being our translator. Whoever would prefer to listen to the keynote in Spanish, here are your headsets. They're up here in the front corner. So I need you to come up and grab these headsets so that way you can listen to the translation.
Ahora en español. Para las personas que estén presentes, que necesiten traducción del keynote hoy, tenemos en la mesa de acá, donde está, ¿quién es? Tanya is standing right over there with the red cardigan. She will hand out, ella va a repartir, ella va a repartir estos aparatos para que puedan escuchar mi traducción del keynote en español. Muchas gracias.
We'll get started in like 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will take your seats, we are ready to begin our session.
You're squeaky. You're squeaky. I think maybe it's because you're behind the mic line.
If you weren't loud enough, maybe.
Okay. Just bringing me up a little bit.
I know it's not loud enough.
I've got lots. I think I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Would you please rise for our national anthem performed by Hannah Swan? Okay. Where am I?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Jennifer Keegan, your NWiR chair, and Anna Anderson, vice chair.
Good morning. That was amazing. Let's give it up for Hannah Swan. Look at all these fans here ready to hit it out of the park today, Anna. This is a sight.
We are so excited to have you, and what a day we have prepared for you. But wait, it's not day, it is
days. So we're very pleased and proud to provide 2 days of content here. So hopefully y'all can join us for day 2 and stick around for our balanced books and brunch content tomorrow. If you have a black or blue dot on the back of your name tag. That will indicate that you'll be joining us tomorrow. So first, before we get started, I did want to acknowledge the rest of the executive committee that has been with us through this journey. There's no way we would be here without them. So if you guys could please rise, give them a round of applause.
So as we get started, you need to be in the know. And so what we put together for you is you should have a QR code coming up here. Scan this, and you will have access to the conference app. If you load that, then you're going to be able to save it to your homepage, and it has all of the things, my friends. It's incredibly amazing, but one thing I want to specifically point out is that included in this is information that you can find regarding the Roofers Coffee Shop live streaming component. So please, well, we are being flexible today, aren't we? So please make sure that you share that live streaming link with your colleagues who weren't able to attend in person.
And a huge thank you to Roofers Coffee Shop for providing that live stream link. Hi, Mom. I know she's joining me from Philadelphia, so thank you all for that. We also wanted to acknowledge our news recipient winners who are sitting up here at the table. If these are scholarship winners, this is their first time at National Women in Roofing Days, and we definitely want to welcome them. So please be good teammates and show them the ropes today.
We also want to thank our amazing sponsors for helping to make this association grow and thrive. We would not be here without your generous support, not only in a financial contribution, but also to the many members who continually show up and shine bright. So everyone, there's many different levels of sponsorship. Each and every one is important to us. And again, thank you so much.
And we are, if we could pause the video for a second, we as our diamond sponsors here want to share with you that they bring to our association a tremendous financial support. And we're truly grateful for that. We wouldn't be where we are without them. But we also want to shine light on the leadership that they bring to our association. And it's often behind the scenes. So we wanted to honor some of the
Thank you so much, National Women in Roofing, for recognizing her for what we get to see her as every single day.
I've known Maureen her entire career here at Tremco since 2009, and the various roles she's held, and she's excelled at all of them. Maureen puts her whole heart into supporting our operation and is personally committed to making sure the field teams are heard and supported.
Maureen exudes a leadership, and we thank her every single day for the services that not only she provides to our customers, but to the individuals that work for her.
When Maureen first discussed taking a board role for the Education Committee at National Women in Roofing, I could not have been more excited. I watched her over several years, put in countless hours, making sure everything was set up meticulously for the webinars. Maureen has very high standards, which she holds herself the most accountable for.
Maureen, I can't say enough about you. I thank you for bringing National Women in Roofing to our group, helping them and encouraging them to push lines that most corporations, most areas, and most women don't want to talk about. Thank you for standing up always for what is right and continuing to have a voice in construction.
Again, her smile, energy, and all-around positive attitude are contagious to all of those who work for her and with her. And that is the reason why she is our MVP representative. Congratulations, Maureen. You are an MVP of WTI and always will.
Ms. Maureen, we're very proud of you, and thank you for all you do for us. And now, to reveal our next one.
Michelle Lee is deserving of the MVP award. She's been a huge advocate of the National Women Roofing Association as well as the NRCA.
I think that one of the things that makes Michelle so successful is she's really fun. She brings great energy to what she works on.
Not only is she an MVP here to all of us in the roofing industry, but she's also a true inspiration to myself personally. So she's a great, fun-loving friend that really shows you how to be successful in business, but also you can't take yourself too seriously. You gotta have a good time.
But Michelle comes from a construction family, and building and construction are in her blood. She understands the importance people bring to roofing and construction, has made a wonderful role model to attract and mentor female talent.
I love working for Michelle. I think that she has earned her success and will continue to be very successful. And I'm thrilled to be able to congratulate her on being an MVP for the National Women in Roofing.
She is so well respected and just a strong female leader. She puts forth that class to really inspire you to be better. I love you, Michelle. Congratulations.
We are so proud of Michelle and all of her efforts, and we thank the NWiR for recognizing Michelle and making such a positive contribution to our great industry. Thank you.
So glad you could be with us today, Michelle. Thank you. So that was exciting. We'll roll out a few more as the day goes along, so stay tuned for the rest of the MVPs. And so now we wanted to tell you a little bit about the conference. And if we could put up the next slide, that would be great. So I wanted to acknowledge our allies and advocates here. I look around this room and I feel truly grateful for all of our male allies that have stood up and come to join us. That was a big call to action for us this year to make sure that we were very inclusive. So thank you very much.
And talking about inclusivity, one thing that you'll notice about the conference today is that your position is not listed on your name badge. We want to lose the barriers today. We want you to be comfortable walking up to anyone and saying, what do you do? How can we connect? How can we be better together? Those barriers, we feel like, need to be left at the door. So please, feel free to talk to those around you and connect and collaborate. That's critical. Other things to be aware of is I could not be more excited about the amazing tracks that we have here for you today. There's 7 different tracks. We already learned about the Spanish track. We have the hands-on workshop, which is fantastic. But there's almost 30 different sessions. And let me tell you, these are mic drop sessions. So I could not be more excited.
We have an amazing talent. Thank you all for participating today. I did want to acknowledge the Spanish track one more time. We have a whole bunch of mics up here, headsets up here. For any of our friends who would prefer to listen to the keynote session in Spanish, please come up to the front corner. You see Tanya waving her hand over there. She has headsets for you. A huge thanks to CPLAS for lending us the headsets for this event, and a huge thanks to Kimberly Santiago of GAF for doing the lifetime translation into Spanish. That's going to be huge for us. A couple new things that we've added to the conference this year, aside from the live Spanish translations. You asked us during the survey to have more opportunities to engage with people, connect with people at different levels, beyond just your physical geographic location. And so at lunch, we've always had regional tables, which we will still have in this main room. Additionally, in the adjacent room, we will have breakout roundtable conversations over lunch. They are listed in the app. They're listed in there, so go ahead and open it up. And if you want to participate in a conversation, I think we have 4 different topics. We'd love for you to join those conversations over lunch. We also have a dugout. So right across from the check-in area, that's going to be our fun room, which is being set up right now. So we have the headshots in there, we have the photo booth, but we also have the dugout. And the dugout is when you need a moment to regroup and just center yourself, be quiet and recollect things, head to the dugout, and we've got some friends in there to kind of help you bring it all in. And then we hope you'll stick around. We have 3 breakout sessions after lunch, and that's a really long day. We put in a 7th inning stretch. So come prepared with what your walk-up song is, and get ready to have a lot of fun with us there. And then I hope you'll stick around after the awards ceremony for our reception. There are definitely games and shenanigans to be had.
And what happens if I share my walk-up song?
Ooh. So our events team has so craftily, they are putting together a National Women in Roofing Power playlist that we will be sharing with you post-conference. So please contribute your walk-up song, and you can use that when you need to get in the zone and get ready for your next big event.
I cannot wait to listen to y'all's songs. So other cool things, we are excited to begin to roll out a large project that the membership committee has been working on, the Member Benefit Advantage program. And this is where businesses are able to share special benefits to fellow NWiR members. So where you registered, there's a table that has 3 pop-up little informational pieces. You can learn about the MBA program, and that then allows you to scan a QR code, and you can register to be a business to share some added value to your NWiR members.
Great. And I think it's time to reveal the next 2 MVPs.
Let me start by saying I'm so excited to be doing this with Brenna because she's very deserving of the MVP award. She's been part of Owens Corning for over 8 years, and throughout that time, she's been diligent in her pursuit of growing and developing both herself and those around her.
And Brenna, congratulations on your MVP award with National Women in Roofing. No one's more deserving than you. I mean, just your collaboration, the relationships you've built with our team, your honesty and integrity.
Brenna, you have done so very much. From me and the membership at large, we are so grateful for all that you've brought to the table.
When I think of the MVP, I think of Brenna Drivers.
I think Brenna's deserving of this award because she is just the most involved, energetic, kind person out there. She's always going the extra mile for everybody.
Brenna's involvement with National Women in Roofing has been very beneficial for Owens Corning. She is a passionate advocate for the work being done and has brought those initiatives back to our company.
Your continued drive to help your customers become better day after day, year after year, is just fantastic.
Behind the scenes, you were instrumental, and again, on the front stage, you're always there, you're always supportive, and you're elevating women across the country. Thank you, and you are truly a well-deserving MVP.
Congratulations, Brenna!
Sharing these videos with her to make sure that she can watch that for herself. So one more before we start the meeting.
I think Carmen is a good candidate for this award because she is an inspirational woman.
Hey Carmen, you've always been not only our MVP, but our fearless leader in a very male-dominated industry.
First, she's been an ally with Certainty to get them to a diamond sponsorship level. She's also started the Philadelphia Council, which has been huge.
Why do I think she's great? I think she's a fantastic role model. She leads our largest business here at Certainty, and she does so with authenticity, with passion, and with a strong competitive spirit.
After speaking with Carmen for a matter of minutes, you can tell that she's intelligent and engaged and driven. As much as she has a ton of energy and is very, very fast-paced, she's also approachable.
Like me, you sit in meetings where oftentimes you are the only female in the room. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your positive attitude, and your hard work is always on full display within our business.
She also works hard to spotlight empowerment and diversity within the industry, which is something that we definitely always need in this industry.
I think her involvement in the National Women in Roofing is hugely valuable to CertainTeed, as it connects us better to a new generation of employees, a diverse generation of employees that are growing within the roofing industry.
I think it sends the message that if you work hard, you can climb.
Congratulations, Carmen, on achieving this great honor, and most importantly, for creating and carving out our space for women in the construction and building industry.
I couldn't be more proud of Carmen. Congratulations, Carmen. It's well deserved. Thank you.
So on behalf of the sponsorship committee, I want to say thank you, Carmen, for all that you do for National Women in Roofing.
Huge round of applause for our 4 MVPs. And 4 more to come this afternoon.
Now we are incredibly excited to introduce you to Katie Bodiford, our Executive Director of National Women in Roofing.
No. I'm a loudmouth, but I don't know if you want to hear me that loud. Welcome to everyone, and you gotta love some AV issues, right? Love it, love it, love it. I appreciate everyone being here this morning. I am passionate about this group. I've been on board for 2 months, and so this is my first NWiR days as well. Who else in the room, this is your first time being here? Wow. That is amazing. So I'm in really good company. Yeah, we have almost 500 attendees here, and that just thrills me to no end. I have been in the association world for about 30 years, which makes me feel really old. A lot of that time has been in the construction sector. I've done lumber manufacturers, we've been with building material suppliers, and now roofers. And I am telling you what, this group are some of the most passionate members I have ever worked with. You guys, the members, the committee members, the leadership, your executive committee team are rock stars. I want to give them a round of applause too. They are absolutely phenomenal. We had our board of directors meeting yesterday, and just sitting in and listening, I was sort of in absorb mode, listening to everything that we've got on the plate and on our agenda. You are in for an incredible 2024. I just want to point that out. But I also want to let you know that we have male allies and advocates here, and I am very excited to have you with us. You guys, we've got to work together to embrace our male allies and advocates, because that's the only way that we can support our pillars: networking, education, mentoring, and industry recruitment. Yeah, I think I've got some feedback, sorry. Our allies are our connection to the outside world. And to get, guys, I'm sorry, do I need a hand mic? Okay. That's our connection to going out and helping folks spread the word about how to get more women in this industry. We have such a story to tell. Did anybody see the Fox Business News thing with Meg Ryan? It told our story about all the different opportunities that are out there in the industry. And we rely on our allies and advocates to help us tell that story. The endless career opportunities that are out there are amazing. We've got roofers on the roof. That's the core of who we are. But we also want to reach out and share the story that there are CFO positions, chemical engineers, designers, you name it. The opportunities are endless. But it doesn't stop there. You guys, every person in this room, you are the voices and the faces out in the world. I mean, you're in the industry. I would like to take a second to reach out to our councils. Could our council leaders stand for just a moment? Thank you. Our councils are out there. If you don't belong to a council or don't know about our councils, that is so important. That is our grassroots effort. It's where the magic happens. The girls and the ladies and the men that don't know about NWiR days or haven't been able to come, that's where they engage locally. They're doing really good things out there, and I wanted to show you a quick clip. A quick clip.
Welcome to National Women in Roofing Day at IRE. Here are some highlights of our local and regional chapters going above and beyond for community service. Members participated in Shoulder to Shoulder with Habitat for Humanity, constructing not just roofs but foundations for brighter futures and continuing to invest in training the next generation of roofing professionals. Beyond roofs, they also secured school supplies and essentials for families, fostering stability where needed most. When the American Red Cross needed blood donations, they stood ready to provide aid in times of need. In their hearts and actions, our members extend compassion to survivors, raising funds and providing the warmth of support for mental health, breast cancer, and domestic violence initiatives.
That would be our Dallas Council. There you go. Come on, DC.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsors for your support.
Let's give them a round of applause. Our councils are doing great things, and I hope to get out this year and visit some of your councils and just get out and see what all is going on there. Now, you guys may have known, and for our newbies, you may not realize it, but we have a new look. We are going through a rebranding process right now, and so we are getting ready to start up our merch store and get all that, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Y in our eye. You may be asking, why rebrand? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, we wanted to share the Y in our eye. Now, when I came on board a couple months ago, I was talking to our executive committee and I said, I love our logo. There's nothing wrong with it. But the N and the W and the R stand out to me. But where's the I? When you think about the I, that's who we are. We're inclusive. Our members are inclusive. That's who we are. We're looking at everything through a DEI lens, and we want to promote inclusivity throughout the industry. We're impactful. I mean, you just saw that video. We make an impact in our communities. We make a difference. We're tenacious, and that's what we're known for as well. We're also inspiring. We inspire one another, not only professionally. I mean, we're all here in a professional role, but we want to inspire each other personally to be the best versions of ourselves. And a lot of the education you'll be listening to, you'll hear things about how to be a better leader, and all the sessions are just really inspiring. And then we're insightful. We have a deep understanding of the benefit of having more women in the roofing industry. And we want to take advantage of that, and we want our voice to be heard because our voice matters. But there's also symbolism to the logo too. If you notice, our old one did not have a roof. So we wanted to add the roof line. What does the roof line symbolize? It symbolizes safety. not only from the rainstorms and all the things that can come our way, but it's a place to be vulnerable, to be yourself. It also symbolizes protection, and your fellow members will always have your back. They'll help you. Anna, when she was talking to me when I first started, she said, we're here to straighten each other's crowns. I love that. That has really stuck with me. Sorry. And it symbolizes our industry. We wanted you to be able to look at the logo and see we're in the roofing industry, and we're proud of it. So welcome to your new chapter, and welcome to NWiR. So I get the pleasure of walking you through the game plan for today. Have you not had fun with this theme? I mean, the baseball theme, they have really hit it out of the park. So in just a little bit, sorry, my husband is so tired of hearing puns, baseball puns. He said, if I hear one more baseball pun, I said, sorry, I'll bunt. No, that's all. So right now, we are getting ready. Kimberly Harden is on her way here. She's our keynote speaker, so we'll be having her speak to us. It's about the sum of us, and you are really going to learn a lot from her and be inspired. Then we go on, and we've got our networking break. Now, this is when, to me, the magic really happens. We're going to be down in room 250, which we label our fun room. You've got headshot stations there. We're going to have networking and just lots of fun stuff in there to help facilitate one of our pillars, which is networking. Then we go on to education. Our education is going to be in 3 separate blocks. They're all going to be down this way in various rooms. We have 40 sessions. Our speakers have done a great job preparing for you guys, and I can't wait to hear what they've got on tap. Our lunch discussions, Keegan talked on this just a little while ago. We're going to use this room. We've got it separated by regions, so you'll see a color-coded chart, but we'll also have an adjacent room where we'll have those 4 special topics that she was talking about. And then we've got our awards ceremony. We want to recognize the accomplishments of some of our members, and we'll be doing that this evening, followed by a fun reception. So at this time, I would like to welcome Terry Dorn. Terry is with NRCA. She's going to talk to us a little bit about what they've got coming up. Come on up. And also about Roofing Days, which is in April. You can use that mic. We need to bump up the podium, please. No, if I can't be heard. Is this one on? There you go, you can use that one.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Terry. I'm with the National Contractors Association. Just want to welcome you all today, and thank you, Jennifer and Anna and Katie, for giving me just a few minutes to talk about the importance of political advocacy and what we do in Washington, D.C. on behalf of everybody for the roofing industry. So tomorrow night there is going to be a Roof Pack reception. Roof Pack is the only political advocacy committee on behalf of the roofing industry in D.C. So we're having an event at the 8 Lounge tomorrow night from 4:30 to 6:30. We're partnering with NWiR. Thank you so much. And we're doing discounted tickets down from $200 to $125. We ask for a contribution for all NWiR members. And then on top of that, in terms of political advocacy, we want to make sure everybody knows that Roofing Day in DC is coming. It's April 16th and 17th. So you can go to nrca.net/roofing day or nrca.net/roofpack on these events. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I hope, who all here is staying for IRE? Is everybody staying? Oh, wow, that's awesome. McKay, did you see that? We're bringing it. We have a booth at IRE, so I'd love for you to stop by and meet with us and learn more about all the programs we've got going on. I think you saw in the opening reels some of the things that are happening here. One really big one that I would like to promote right now is our Member Benefit Advantage. Jay, where's Jay? Are you Jay Horbach? I'm not going to call you up. Don't freak out. Jay and the membership committee have worked tirelessly to bring you this new member program. There's a table out by registration that you can stop and sign up with a QR code to get more information. It's a way that our members can leverage the connections they have in the industry and make money and also save money by the connections that we have. So we're really excited they're bringing that to the forefront, and be sure to stop by and learn more about that as well. At this time, I'd like to call our general membership meeting to order. This is just we've got some quick business because we've got some phenomenal new board members that we would like to vote on. And if you are a member of NWiR, this only takes a few minutes, but I will need to get your vote of approval. The board members met yesterday. They have vetted these candidates. They went through a new application process that we have. We're really proud of that. I'd like to thank Christy Holbrook, wherever you are, for helping us put all that together. She has done a phenomenal job of putting some processes in place. But at this time, I'd like to call up these ladies. So as your name is shown, if you don't mind coming up here on the stage with me, we got Megan Malone of Rackley Roofing coming on board as our Vice Chair of Councils Committee. Be working with Miss Wendy Lucas. Now we've got Michelle Lexvold from Art Unlimited. Michelle, where are you? Hello. Vice Chair of Membership, so she'll be helping Jay out with that Member Benefit Advantage program. We got Danielle Pack. Danielle is coming to us from USC Fort Rock, and she's going to be our Chair of Mentoring. Mandy McIntyre from Level Up Consultants. Mandy is going to be the chair of our Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Committee. She's done a great job working on that committee and now is going to be taking the chair for that. Minnie Robles. Is Minnie here from John's Man? There she is. Minnie's going to be the co-chair of our DEI committee. You got a real close up there, didn't you? And then we've got Corey Burnham. Corey is joining us, and she's going to be the vice chair of the Community Service Committee, so we'll give her a moment to come up. But these ladies have taken on, we met yesterday, and they kind of got to learn more about the role of the board of directors, and you've got a really solid team of leaders that are coming on board. Welcome, Corey. Okay, so at this time, I would like to present to you your candidates for your board of directors, and I would like to take a vote. We're not going to entertain a motion. I just need to see all in favor. Please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Welcome on board. And I do want him to get a picture of all of you. There you go. You got our new board of directors. Thank you. Okay. At this time, I am going to welcome up Jennifer Keegan, who is going to tell us a little bit about our keynote presenter. Thank you for letting me represent you. I've met a lot of you so far, but I look forward to meeting you again. Thank you. Well, there's Kimberly.
Are we good? There we go. I was going to say, I have a loud voice. I can yell. So, as we were starting this new chapter with National Women in Roofing, including our male allies and advocates was extremely important, just like Katie showed with the Y in our eye. So I knew that our keynote had to have an element of allyship in it, but I didn't really have a clear picture until I spoke with Dr. Hardin. And she said, well, do you have allies, advocates, or accomplices? And I said, ooh, that sounds like fun. I want to be an accomplice because that sounds like full of mischief. So please help me welcome Dr. Hardin to the stage to help us learn how to get there.
Hello, can you hear me? I can hear myself. How's everybody doing? Wait a minute. I know it's Sunday morning, but that's kind of pitiful. How y'all doing? Okay now. So I haven't had my coffee yet. Oh, I need my clicker too. Oh, here's a clicker. Okay, so I have one of the C's. So I have the clicker, I'm waiting for my coffee. I don't know about you all, but that first sip of coffee, how many of you are with me with that first sip of coffee? I get up at 3:30 in the morning, every morning, and I shuffle. Yeah, you're like, what? 3:30 every morning, I shuffle downstairs, get my coffee, and then when I forget to preset it, it just kind of kills the entire day. So when my assistant comes in, if she's gonna come in with some coffee, so just ignore me for a minute. When she comes in, I'm gonna take a quick sip because I'm gonna need it. Anyway, thank you, Jennifer, and the rest of the team for inviting me. It's really, really good to be here. I travel quite a bit, so time zones, you get a little bit of confused, like where am I? What am I doing? All of those things. All right. So let me just give you a little bit of information about me and my company, Hardin Consulting Group. May 19th will be our 5-year anniversary. So thank you. So what we do is we're an award-winning consulting firm, and we help organizations, we found that a lot of companies, when you say diversity, that means they just want to hire people. And I always question them, why do you want to hire particular groups of people? What value are they going to add, and what value are you going to add to them? And so I try to help them have a holistic approach. And so we developed a framework called DEBIT training. DEBIT stands for diversity, equity, belonging, interpersonal communication, and talent management. And all of those 5 pillars need to work together to make an effective organization. So our services include cultural intelligence. DEI is part of cultural intelligence. I'll talk about that a little bit. We do a lot of leadership coaching and a lot of keynote presentations, workshops, and things like that. So about me, people always want to know, well, what about you, Kimberly? Well, I'm an interesting person, or at least I like to think so. I'm a former communications professor. I spent 12 years teaching communication studies at Seattle University and different universities in Washington State. I'm a weightlifter. I did tell my personal trainer knows a personal trainer here, Bruno Mars's personal trainer, as a matter of fact. And we met on Thursday. We talked on Zoom, and he was like, did she tell you about the burgers and fries that she was craving? I'm like, burgers and fries? You're talking my language. Because she's always like, no, you need to eat protein and vegetables and all this stuff. And I'm like, sometimes you just need a piece of meat with a bun. But usually I eat kale salad for breakfast. People are always like, oh, you're crazy, you eat salad for breakfast. I'm like, but you eat pancakes for dinner. So food is food. It's interesting because as a communications professor, people assume that I watch TV, but I really don't watch TV. Every now and then when I'm super stressed out, I will watch The Golden Girls. Any Rose, Dorothy, Blanche, Sophia fans in here? All right. I love me some Tim McGraw. No, I love me some Tim McGraw. But I also have a weird thing for Snoop Dogg. Not because he's not sexy, I'm not, but he has that kind of swag, just the snizzle, whatever. So I have a weird thing for Snoop Dogg. My staff members call me Oscar Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus. Can you guess why? I won't be offended. Anybody want to take a guess why I'm Oscar Snuffleupagus? Pretty much. A staff member called me the other day, and it was 9 o'clock, which is the day that I slept in because I had been running so hard. And she's like, are you dying? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, 1, it's late, and 2, you sound like death. And I'm like, I haven't had my coffee. And I'm a woman of many talents, hidden talents, and I can't tell you what they are because they're hidden. All right, so we're going to do a little morning math. What is 1/2 plus 1/2? 1/3, 1/3, 1/3? 3/4, 1/4? 1 plus 1? Wrong answer. 1 plus 1 is 1. That's what this entire presentation is about, the sum of us. So I like to tell stories, and fortunately, I have some really good stories in my life. This gentleman is my dad, and my parents were construction and steel workers. And it's interesting because when I started my business, my goal, my avatar, if you will, was not construction at all. But that was my second client was a construction company. Are you familiar with the NWiR, an organization called the NWiR, Construction Pre-Apprenticeship Program? Okay, it's in Washington State, but it's expanding. I think it's already expanded to Oregon and Idaho, so it's going to be coming to your area. So I like to say it's divine intervention that my dad and my mother, who are now deceased, they've kind of orchestrated my clientele, and it happens to be a lot of construction organizations. So my dad was in construction and still worked for many, many years, and that's actually where he met my mother. And when they started working together, a lot of people were like, "You're a woman, like, go get a broom and sweep." And my dad, being the advocate and the accomplice that he was like, "Wait a minute, if she's here, she's qualified. And if she's not, we're gonna train her to do what we do." And so he had a conversation with my mother. "What is it that you want to learn how to do?" This was back in the late 60s, early 70s. This was kind of unheard of and kind of radical. And so my dad mentored my mother, and so she actually became a supervisor at the steel mill where they worked at. And then eventually they fell in love. And I think that was my dad's MO the entire time, like, I'm gonna mentor you so you can catch the feelings. And I did ask my parents one day, I'm like, so tell me about your story, how'd you fall in love? My mom's like, I couldn't stand him. I'm like, so why'd you get married? And my dad said, have you seen your mother? Have you seen her dimples? That was it. I was like, okay, all right. And so my dad, when I first got my job, I started working at age 13, with little summer jobs and so on and so forth. And I was really excited, and I'm telling my dad about it. And he says, one thing I want you to remember is 1 + 1 = 1. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He was like, when you go to work, it's like a marriage. You have to operate as one. Not be divided, not have your own individual goals, and not compete with your colleagues. You have to work in unison as one. So that stuck with me. So, thinking about that in the work that I do, I realized that this is not about diversity. People are saying DEI is dead. DEI will forever be alive. But you have to look at the big picture. It's not just about DEI. It's actually about cultural intelligence. And so cultural intelligence is the ability to navigate and thrive. That's what we all want. We want to navigate and thrive in various settings, and we want to be understood. We also want to impart understanding to others. And we want to leverage the diversity of people in the room. You have a skill that I don't have, I have a skill that you don't have, right? And so we're all individuals, but you work collectively. That's what cultural intelligence is about. Making the different puzzle pieces a whole picture. And so cultural intelligence matters for these reasons, right? Globalization is real. If COVID didn't teach us anything, it's about globalization. We can get online and we can interact. We can work remotely. We don't have to be in the office. So COVID really taught us about globalization and the impact we can have. It's also about, DEI. It's about conflict management. Cultural intelligence is conflict management. And what I mean about conflict management and cultural intelligence is I have to see how you communicate, one, and then adapt to my communication style. And it's interesting because my team members are mostly younger people, and they have a vernacular and a slang that I don't understand most of the time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I have to learn how to navigate that and learn some new slang. And it's always interesting because when I say those terms back to them, they're like, what are you talking about? So I remember I was giving a presentation one time, and this is actually when I was teaching, and my student said, Dr. Harden said it with her chest. And I'm looking down like, is something hanging out? Like, what's going on? I don't want to say it with my chest. And so they explained what it meant. I'm like, oh, okay, well, hey, I'll say it with my chest then. So it's always interesting. So you have to learn how to navigate that. Enhanced decision making, right? How many of you make better choices when you have more people to bounce ideas off of? Okay, I see my coffee coming. So this young lady right here is celebrating her second anniversary of her 25th birthday. And not only does she bring me coffee, she also helps me make good decisions after I have coffee. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Now I can function. All right, and it also contributes to improved relationships, right? How many of you have relationships that you feel can be improved? Don't be shy, raise your hand. Everyone's like, yes, cultural intelligence will help with that as well. So as I was preparing for this presentation, I was like, let me do some stats. And so I ran some numbers regarding the racial makeup of roofers. And so I know it's kind of, oh, it is pretty good, all right. I was concerned that the font was gonna be small. So people in the back, can you all see? Perfect, all right. So, bless you. So as you can see, the roofing industry is still primarily dominated by white folks. And it's also primarily males. And so what struck me about this graphic is that it improved slightly in 2020, but then took a dip in 2021. Any thoughts or ideas about why that dip occurred? But this is just women. The men pretty much stayed the same. So why did the female... Okay, say it again. Kids? Kids? Oh yeah, online schooling. Huh? Schools? Okay, I heard something over here. Mostly, yeah. So, and I had to investigate and think about it, and the root causes of some of the dip was symbolic interactionism, and I'll explain what that is. Social control and conformity. Have you all experienced social control and conformity in the roofing industry? Discrimination, toxic workplace, lack of flexibility, so it goes to the whole child care, homeschool, online schooling, all of those things, being the default parent. Exclusion. There is research that said that male coworkers tend to exclude their female counterparts from outings. So if they're going out to happy hour, if you're a female, you're not going to be asked to happy hour, as though we don't drink. We're in Vegas, baby. Hey, get down with the get down, right? All right, also lack of mentorship and role models. You know, that's a huge issue. Representation matters. It matters to have a female boss. It matters to have a leader of color, a leader of, you know, maybe a marginalized community, LGBTQ status. All of those things really, really matter. Lack of advancement. How many of you have quit a job because, like, there's no opportunity to grow? That's huge. Pay disparities, huge across every industry. Also, the lack of recruitment efforts. And so sometimes people say, oh, you know, we can do better with recruitment. It's either the lack of recruitment or there is no recruitment. You'll go to like a college fair, you'll set up a booth, and you're not intentional about, hey, we're targeting women of color, or we're targeting disabled or differently abled people, right? So you have to be very intentional when you're developing your recruitment efforts. And then imposter syndrome. How many of you suffer from imposter syndrome? Okay, so within that imposter syndrome, is it the superwoman effect that you have or the invisibility factor? Loaf. So you feel like you're doing too much or you're not doing enough. Yes. So just looping back to the symbolic interactionism, basically that means that, and it was a framework developed by George Mead and Hubert Blummer. Yes, I'm a geek, so I remember philosopher names. Anyways, they basically said that our interaction with people dictates how we treat them and people like them in the future. So it's kind of like bias. It ties into bias and stereotypes and all of those things. So if you run across a black woman who is as fabulous as I am, hey, sparkly sneakers and all, then you will assume that every black woman is as fabulous as I am. Conversely, if you run into a gentleman who is kind of a jackass, then you may assume that every man is a jackass. And we know that's not true, right? But it's that initial interaction that we have with people that sticks in our head, and we tend to become biased and stereotyped based on that one particular interaction, instead of thinking about the whole, right? So that's what symbolic interactionism is. Come on, clicker. All right. So my question to you is, and I have so many questions for y'all, as well as an activity. That's why people are like, why is there spaghetti? Did y'all question that when you came in? Like, why is there spaghetti on the table? So my first question is, how does the sociological concept of symbolic interactionism contribute to bias and stereotypes in the roofing industry? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to discuss amongst yourselves. So talk to your table mates. If you haven't already said hi to your table mates, say hi to your table mates. And then talk about this question. One more minute. They're under the chair. Oh, Kristen? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, time is up. See, this is a great question. You all are just now happy, just chit-chatting away, aren't you? All right. Okay. Everybody's still talking. Hello, people. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hi. All right. So I would like for some volunteers to speak. So we have some people with microphones. Thank you very much. So if you would like to share what your table talked about, I encourage you to do so, and I thank you in advance.
So
Thank you. Hi.
we talked about, we've got a VP, an owner, and an owner at our table. And we talked about how a lot of times vendors, especially at these sorts of events, only invite the men to the parties. And actually, I had a vendor reach out to me last week that said, hey, I heard that your team's going. Can you send me the schedule for this guy and this guy and this guy? So I called him and I said, I guess I'm confused. Am I not important enough to be invited? And, put him in his place, but happens a lot.
Thank you. I'm glad you put them in their place, but I also find it interesting that once women do go to these events, if we drink, we're labeled certain ways, but some men can be sloppy drunk and it's like, oh, he's just having a good time, right? Okay, so we have a comment back here.
Hello, Stephanie with Beacon Building Products, thank you. We start the happy hour now, so.
Come on now.
That's what we do now. We start the happy hour.
It's not happy until you get there, right?
Exactly. So start the happy hour. You don't have a problem.
There's a hand up here.
Nothing like being voluntold.
Voluntold, yes.
So we have people from distribution and operations and owners at our table. And just walking into talking to GCs or homeowners, and they question whether or not you know what you're talking about. They try and teach you how to shingle or what underlayment is needed or what flashings are needed. So just proving that you know what you're talking about when you're talking to people who think.
Thank you.
All right, this is my TED conference experience. In this team here, we have some amazing women. Okay, amazing women. We were talking about how many of you can relate? Hey, the blonde girl that's really nice and bubbly, she's an airhead, right? She doesn't know anything. What about women who get up on a roof and they're like, you're really gonna get up on that roof? Are you serious? Well, me, I would fall off because I have no balance. But hey, y'all did great. We also talked about when we look at someone, we're already judging them based on their look, their size, their gender, their brain. Oh, I have glasses. I'm real smart, right? Maybe not. Maybe not, right? How many of us judge you based on what you look like, where you're from, your race, your culture, your background, and your language? We automatically put barriers up. That's what this is about.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Hello. I'm currently the Vice President of Construction Operations for my company. And when I started, thank you. And these ladies here, our admin, our claims directors, and our VP of admin, they don't even know this, but I was the first female general manager, used to be a sales rep, and I ran the highest grossing office, highest gross profit, lowest services, which is why I'm in the VP position now. People would walk into my office and assume I was the secretary. Some of the vendors in here, I won't name names, but would want our business, but walk right by me. And my office manager would be like, do you have a meeting with Erica? Well, no, we just walked in, we want her to sell our products. And she would say, well, she's busy, because she knew what was happening. It happened a lot. I got overlooked a lot, not as the leader in that location, but we do have to do better in this industry. At my company, I don't have those problems, but just in general, when I'm on a lot of business trips with some of the roofing companies, the vendors. I'm the only person, only female, only black person. And they assume I'm somebody's wife or I'm somebody's secretary, but I'm not.
Thank you for sharing. Go ahead. Hi.
Hi, my name is Mary Kutras, and I'm a part of Wholesome. At our table, we have purchasing, sales, HR, marketing, R&D, and in terms of symbolic interactionism and how it affects us is that we are seen sometimes as these caretaking and nurturing roles. So picking up after people, being at the registration desk when there may be, obviously a lot of other people that can help out, or, that secretary type role, even though we have, advanced degrees or longevity, professionalism, but just them not seeing that part of you.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Okay, we'll have the last comment and then we'll move on.
So we were looking at the spaghetti, okay, and we're like, well, it doesn't really belong here. And sometimes we've got a table full of customer care representatives, salespeople. Because you don't belong there. And I've shown up to jobs, and I've climbed to the top of the ladder, and they go, "Who are you?" "Trainer." And they say, "We asked for a trainer, and they sent us Barbie." Wow. But we've high-fived at the end of the day. But they also say, "Well, don't worry. There's a woman coming, and she's going to show you how to properly source your tools." "A woman?" "Oh, don't. She's a woman, but she knows her shit." So sometimes we do feel like a piece of spaghetti that's on a table that don't belong there. So how do we fit in? And how do we make ourselves part of the picture, right? And not an anomaly.
The microaggressions are real. Thank you for sharing. We have one more comment. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Penny. I'm from New York. I'm a fourth-generation commercial roofer in the Tri-State area. I bought out my family during COVID because we went down 120 years. COVID was not good to us. I'm also an architect, so when I show up on a roof, I'm 5 foot. I'm wearing 4-inch heels. And when I show up on the roof, everyone gives me a look like, what are you doing here and why? And I'm on hospitals, housing projects. I work with GCs, masonry, local law, and architect, and they're all like, are you here to take notes? Give me my coffee. And sometimes even my family. I work with my dad and my mom work for me, and they still treat me like I'm a little girl. And I have to get out of my head. The limiting belief is I'm not a little girl. I'm a powerful, hungry, working woman. I had up to 700 people working for me at one point, running it, and when I get on site, they still give me looks. I'm at the hospital, I'm on a roof. The whole staff's looking at me like, what are you doing here? Until I fix their leaks. So I'm starting a show, it's called Roof Whisperer, and my name is Penny the Roofer, and I'm gonna teach the world how important it is to have a roof, to fix it first, because nothing else matters. If your roof is leaking, you have nothing. And this room has to teach people that the roof is important, not selling it, but fixing it, replacing it, and making it the most important part of your building, because without us, no one has anything.
Say that. Love it. Okay, so the next question, these are some reflection questions that I just want you to think about for a few seconds and just ask yourself these questions. Where am I on the spectrum? So what meanings do I think others have of me? And what societal constraints do I encounter? Men, I want you to think about those questions too, because we judge you, you're judged as well. So what constraints, what meanings do you think others have of you? And what societal constraints do you have? Also, I want you to concentrate on, do you concentrate on others' weaknesses? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about being supported, but are you supporting others as well? I find that a lot of people say, oh, I need support, I need support. But are you supporting others? Right? A lot of times people will say, I'm an ally, particularly women. They'll say, I'm an ally. And I'm like, okay, so what have you done to help marginalize women? Whether they're women of color, whether they're members of the LGBTQ community, whether they're differently abled. What are you doing to help others? Because one thing that I firmly believe, and Denzel Washington said, and actually his name is Denzel. I just learned that his name is Denzel, not Denzel. So Denzel Washington reminded us that a U-Haul does not follow a hearse. So then the question becomes, what do you want your legacy to be? You want to be supported, but how are you helping others? And then the last question is, do you discourage others instead of embracing their potential? I've been very fortunate in my life because I've had some great male allies that spoke life into me, even when I was young and didn't even know what that meant. My dad used to call me professor. Like, what? Why are you calling me professor? He was like, professor, you just know everything. You're a little professor. And then I met the fire chief of Seattle, Claude Harris, who says, you're going to be a doctor. I worked in hospitals most of my life in administration, and I was like, I am not going to be a doctor. Blood and gore is not my thing. Sparkly, I can deal with. But blood and guts, not so much. And so I was like, no, Dr. Harris, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not doing any of that. And I was young and I had no idea what a EDD or a PhD was. And so the fact that he spoke life, the fact that my father spoke life, the fact that my first manager, Joe Abila, spoke life. I was 18 years old and I was the only Black female in customer quality support at Boeing. 18 years old with all of these older white men. So I understand being treated like a child because, you know, you have 50 and 60-year-olds saying, hey kid. They didn't ask me to bring them coffee, fortunately, because at the time I didn't know how to make good coffee. So they brought me coffee instead, which was nice. That's how I learned to love coffee. So I was always very fortunate to have those people to speak life into me. To say, hey, what do you want to do with your life? What skill do I have that I can teach you? How can I mentor you? How can I coach you? And so every job that I've had, I've been fortunate to have someone to be willing to do that. And I would say, you know what, this part of your job I find very interesting. Can you teach me how to do that? I became a qualitative researcher long before I even got my degree. I had a mentor who said, you know, you're here, you have this job, what do you want to do? I know you don't want to just be an assistant, what do you want to do? And I said, I love how you interview people. I want to learn how to do that, how to do qualitative research. And so she coached me, she mentored me, and next thing you know, I'm out in the field interviewing people, which was great. And I was intimidated. I was like, well, I don't know how to get people to talk without, you know, I'm intimidated. So someone mentioned being the first Black, this young person over here mentioned being the first Black VP. Is that your, say it again? Everything. That's real. That is real. And so I remember I was intimidated because I was young, I was Black, I was female, and I was like, I don't know how to go out and talk to these people. And so Barbara asked me, well, where do you spend most of your time? Being a young Black woman, my time was at the hairdresser. Every week. So a few of you are like, yeah, we got you. Yeah. She says, go do your interviews at at the hair salon. And so we collected the data, we presented it, we ended up getting a contract with the state, a $1.2 million contract with the state to do this work, and they started selling our products. And it's just nice to know that I had a small impact on that project, all because I had someone willing to mentor me and coach me. And then the other question is, do you try to make people more like you? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but humans, I would say Americans, tend to do that. We want everyone to be like us. I don't want any... Okay, I'm feeling some rumbling. What's going on? I'm from Washington State, so anytime I feel some rumbling, I'm about to duck and cover. I don't want people to be like me, and that's intentional. Because I'm very self-aware. And to have two of me in the same room, Jesus, take the wheel, that would be too much. But you get so much wealth of knowledge by being with people who are not like you, who have different perspectives and different opinions and different mindsets and different ways of doing things. And I remember my parents used to argue, well, let me rephrase that. My mom used to nitpick at my dad about like cleaning the kitchen, and then complained that he didn't clean the kitchen the way she would have cleaned the kitchen. Uh-oh, I see some nods. How many of you are guilty of that? Okay, I'm gonna mess with you for a minute. You get upset because your partner doesn't do things the way you want them done. But they get done. And they're done appropriate. Like, if you ask to clean up the kitchen, the dishes are washed, the floor is swept and mopped, and all that. So all of that's done, right? So why are you nitpicking? Don't answer that. The bottom line is, as long as they get done, does it matter the process? It doesn't matter if you wash dishes first or if you sweep and mop the kitchen first and then do the dishes. I remember my brother-in-law used to call me and be like, tell your nephew to clean his room. Why are you calling me? I have nothing to do with that. But of course, being auntie, I would call him like, what's going on? He's like, I can't clean my room right now. I'm like, okay, so you have to go do X, Y, and Z. He's like, yeah. My nephew is very methodical about how he cleans his room. He has to do certain things first before he cleans his room. And then he'll go take a shower. Because he's like, I just cleaned, so what's the point of me taking a shower first and then getting dirty and then having to take a shower again? And so my brother-in-law would just be like so upset. I'm like, it doesn't matter. His room is clean. The one you need to deal with is my niece who leaves like graham cracker wrappers under the bed. Go talk to her. Get her a process. Poor child. All right, so we have to think about individual bias. You know, we always talk about the industry. Don't get me wrong, the industry is biased, but it's individuals that make up the industry. So you can't change the industry until you change the individual within the industry first. Is that not correct? Right? And so that's what I do. When I work with leaders, you know, and they say, oh, we need a consultant to come and fix this. I'm like, no, I need to talk to your leaders first. I need to come and observe. And so a lot of times I will go in incognito. I will go in with jeans and a hoodie. And I will observe how many people actually talk to me while I'm sitting in the lobby. Or am I going to be ignored? I've had staff members say, I've worked here for 20 years and the CEO has never spoken to me. That's insane to me. How can you change a culture if you're not willing to change individually? And so they may hire me to come in and do like some organizational coaching, and it turns into one-on-one coaching because that's what's needed. I can't fix a system until I fix the individual. It's like giving you a Band-Aid when you have a headache. So it's really important to develop an inclusive and collaborative mindset. And so, you know, we need to talk about inclusion. Someone mentioned belonging over here, and I wanted to add on to that. You know, a lot of times companies will say, oh, we're inclusive. And I always ask the question, do your staff members really feel like they belong? Because I can invite you to my house. The invitation is inclusion. But if you come to my house and I am just being an ungracious host, I don't have your snacks or your favorite cocktail, my partier over here, my happy hour. If I'm not ready to get happy with you, do you really belong at my house? Or if you have dietary restraints and I can't meet that need, do you belong at my house? Right? So again, that's inclusion. But we want to shift from inclusion to belonging. And so inclusion and collaboration really leads to collectivism, right? It's all an arrow. It all works in sync, right? So inclusion, collaboration equals collectivism. If I get my clicker to work. All right, so collectivism, so, you know, the United States tends to be a very individualistic society. It's all about me, me, me. We're very selfish. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish as long as you are willing to bring others with you. Some of you are like, what? It is okay to be selfish as long as others are benefiting from that selfishness. I am not going to order pizza for myself when my staff has not had lunch. I ask, what do y'all want today? And where's Krista now? She knows this because she's like, you're getting on my nerves asking me what I want for lunch. I'm like, so what do you all want? And they always ask, well, what do you want? It's not about me, it's about you all, because I can adapt, right? So it's about collectivism. And there's so much power in collectivism. So it's about unity, working as one, making sure that no one is harmed. How many of you have been in a workplace where you have seen a coworker completely overwhelmed and you've offered to take a load off of their plate? Okay, a few of you. I remember when I was teaching, this is right when the pandemic hit, and I was still teaching at the time, and my colleague was so furious about this one particular student who had not turned in an assignment. And he's like, I'm gonna fail her because, you know, she's behind, she hasn't turned in 3 assignments. And I'm just like, dude, you're doing way too much. It's an assignment. This is COVID. Have you talked to this student? Well, no, I haven't talked to her, and, you know, it's just, I don't care what's going on. You need to care what's going on. That's where empathy and compassion comes in. People keep saying empathy, empathy, empathy. It's not about empathy, it's about compassion. Because empathy is, I can relate to you, but what if I can't relate to you? I need compassion. Compassion is, I see you're struggling, what can I do to assist you? And so I called the student and I said, you know, Ashley, what's going on? And she's like, Dr. Harden, I'm at home. My mom is a drug addict. My mom has cancer. She's scamming the doctor out of these drug medications. I'm taking care of my 9-year-old sister. She had a lot going on. And she was supposed to graduate at the end of the quarter. And she's like, I know I'm behind. I'm not going to graduate. I'm like, you're going to graduate. If I have to give you an extension until kingdom come, you are graduating. And so I said, don't worry about it. I've had you in 4 different classes. I know your quality of work. I said, instead of doing these assignments, we're going to make this your assignment. And I adapted, and she graduated. And unfortunately, her mother passed away, not from cancer, but from she OD'd, unfortunately. But imagine being a 22-year-old and you have to go home and deal with that. And you have this professor who's just like, ah. I'm like, dude, get yourself together. And if you're like that stressed out over an assignment, then something is wrong. You need to be able to take the load off of someone else. That's where the compassion comes in. What can I do to assist you? And that goes back to the earlier question. We all want to be supported, but how are you supporting others? Right? It all goes back to the power of one, the sum of one. So I've already covered that, so for the sake of time, I'm going to keep moving. So gender parity. We all talk about, you know, equality and all of those kind of things. And it's true, we need to have gender parity in the workplace, but we also need to have racial parity. We need to have disability parity, right? It should all be equal. We should have more people of color in leadership. and not just the workers. So when we talk about being an ally, are you supporting other women, other marginalized communities to take on those leadership roles? Or are you being selfish and saying, well, I need that role? Instead of saying, well, you know what? Maybe I'm not qualified. Maybe I'm not ready for that role. And that's the thing. A lot of times we don't want to acknowledge our own shortcomings. But you have to hold up that mirror and say, I'm not ready yet. And I'm going to give someone else the slot. So gender parity, it's about equal participation and opportunities. It's also about participative decision making. So are you inviting others to the table? I remember I was working in the hospital. This was my last hospital job, as a matter of fact. And the executive VP was like trying to make all of these administrative changes without talking to the administrative manager. How does that make sense? You want to change the process, but you don't even know what the process is. You're just saying, we're going to do this to do this. And so he presented this to me. He's like, oh, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. No, we're not. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, you didn't talk to me, you didn't get my input, and I'm telling you, your process makes no sense to what needs to get done, so I'm not doing that. And I'm not having my staff do that. And he was like, oh yeah, we should have had a conversation. You think? It's about equal pay, of course, rewards, challenging stereotypes, right? And it's really about our authentic selves. How many of you feel like you're able to show up authentically? Less than half the room feels like you're able to show up authentically. So then, you know, people always ask me that question, well, what does authenticity mean? Authenticity does not mean being rude. You know, when you're in an argument, you're like, I'm just being my authentic self. Is your authentic self being an ass? Because that's kind of what you're doing right now, right? So being authentic does not mean being rude and disrespectful. It means being able to show up in all of your glory, right? And so people ask this question all the time. How many of you, this is for my women of color, how many of you are asked about your hair? It's exhausting. It's hair. And when people ask, well, how do you take care of your hair? Same way you take care of your hair. You wash it. You dry it. and so, you know, people, when I first started my locks, they were like, oh, it's like so radical. And I'm like, it is not, right? This is my natural state. So why is it that, I'm going to use you as an example, because you're here front and center. You get to show up with your natural state of hair, but when I do it, it becomes an issue, right? I never understood that. And then the idea that someone wants to come and touch you and pet your hair. And I actually did this at a presentation one time. I talked to the coordinator in advance and got permission. And I was speaking, and I just went up and I just started stroking her hair. And everyone was like, oh my God, you're touching her. Like, what are you doing? I said, do you think about how you just did that to a black woman? Right? We all talk about being allies, but you don't want to support black women or Asian women or Latino women, right? You can't be double-minded. You either want to support all or you don't want to support any. If you don't support all of us, then why do you expect us to support you? My job, people always ask me, well, what is your job? My job is a change agent. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's up to you my job is to make you aware. It's your job to take action. And that's why I call my sessions awareness and action sessions. It's my job to make you aware. What you choose to do with that, that's your business. But as my aunt used to say, everyone needs to think about what you're thinking about. So before you want to go pet someone's hair or tell them bring their authentic selves to work and then you mistreat them when they show up their authentic selves, you need to think about what you're thinking about. So when you say show up authentically and I show up in my sparkly sneakers, you're like, that's unprofessional. According to whom? Shoes are shoes, right? So for those of you that said you were not comfortable showing up, I want you to think about why you're not comfortable. And I also want you to think about this quote from Audre Lorde, and I live by this. If I don't show up as my authentic self, I will be eaten up and spit out, right? So people want to convert you into what they want you to be, which goes back to the earlier question. Why do you want people to be like you? Doesn't the world have enough you? I'm just saying, I am enough. I don't know if y'all can handle 2 or 3 of me. I always say I need to clone myself, but I don't know. I just need to be an octopus for a little bit, but not clone myself. Coffee's still good, y'all. All right, so men of quality respect women's equality. I need more men to be like Bill Harden. That doesn't mean go flirt with your coworkers. It means having conversations with your female employees, asking them, what is it that you want to do and how can I assist you? I need you to show up and be compassionate to say, how can I help you get to that next level? You need to be willing to have that conversation. So Jennifer mentioned ally, advocate, and accomplice, and that was actually my first book called The Allyship Challenge. And so ally just means, my definition, people always say I'm an ally. And I developed this framework right after George Floyd was murdered, and it was 6:30 in the morning. I was at Safeway grocery store, just come from the gym, sweaty and just gross. And a white woman comes up to me and she says, I'm an ally. I'm just trying to get a zucchini. What are you talking about? And why would you, so I'm standing there and I'm like, let me try to reconcile what just happened. You don't know me, I don't know you, we're both in the produce aisle, and you're just going to come up to a random person and say you're an ally. And I started noticing the trend that people would say that. White people say, I'm an ally, I'm an ally. And so the question for me, I would ask them, an ally to whom? And what have you done to prove yourself to be an ally? I had a conversation with a colleague once who, teaching, and we had our department meeting, and she's like, yeah, students aren't doing well in my class. And I'm like, well, which group of students so we can get them the help? You know, is it international students? Is it second language students? Like, which group of students? And she's like, no students of color are doing well in my class. And she was so proud of that. And I said, well, you know what? That speaks more about your teaching style than it says about the students. Cue the tears. I usually carry, pocket packs of Kleenex. And so I handed her a Kleenex. I said, I need you to go clean your face, wipe your tears, and when you're ready to have a conversation, we need to have a conversation because your action is negatively impacting a lot of people. And you need to think about what you're thinking about. And you're around here professing to be an ally, but you're not willing to help those that need help. Is that an ally? That's where the performative allyship comes in. So when people say you're an ally, I challenge that. I'm like, okay, great, you're an ally. I need you to be an advocate. So imagine pie. I like pie. How many of you like pie? Well, actually, I prefer cheesecake. And then that becomes a philosophical question. Is cheesecake a cake or is it a pie? I won't go there, but anyways. And so, an advocate will say, hey, there is some pie or some cheesecake in the kitchen. Would you like for me to bring you a slice? Right? That's an advocate. They're going to give you some. Whereas an ally is going to say, oh yeah, there was some cheesecake in the break room, but I don't know if there's any left because, I took 2 slices. We know people like that. And then the accomplice, they're going to be the ones who say, oh, there's only one pie? Well, what can we do to get another pie? They're going to be plotting and scheming about, oh, we need to get another pie because we got 15 people up in here and there's one pie and we can't divide this bad boy up. Or we're going to divide it up to equal, like go and get that bite-sized piece of pie, and then you're gonna be mad because you only had that taste, and then you're gonna be like, I need some more pie. You know the drill. But that's what accomplices do. They're gonna be like, I need to figure out how to get some more pie so everybody on my team gets some pie. That's what an accomplice does. And that's what I need you men to do. So Warren Buffett says, fellow males, get on board. The closer that America comes to fully employing the talents of all of its citizens, the greater its outputs and goods and services will be. Now, if you can't believe Warren Buffett, who can you believe? He's a man talking to males, come on. And he's a wealthy man, so. All right, so again, Warren Buffett proves that 1 + 1 = 1. All right, so it is time for some fun. We're gonna take 5 minutes and we're gonna do this activity with some spaghetti. So the project is, class, you have to build a structure with nothing but the spaghetti noodles and the tape on your table. I'm not gonna give any instructions, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. Y'all have 5 minutes to build a tall structure with spaghetti and tape. Hello, can you hear me? So the people in the back in the rows, the people in the back sitting in the chairs in the back in the rows, there is a bag with your spaghetti underneath the seat. So the end of the row has the light bag with the spaghetti under the seat. I didn't forget about y'all. So the first team that builds the structure, when you build your structure, raise your hand. When you build your structure's done, raise your hand, okay? Okay. Y'all done? Can you turn them? Oh, is the mic on? Okay, looks like we have a team that already has their structure. Let me come down and look at this structure. Make sure it's not raggedy.
Here's our structure.
Okay. Did you get this picture of the structure? The spaghetti tower. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a team. See, you guys are having fun with the spaghetti tower, right? We have a team that actually won the spaghetti tower. Okay, we're gonna reconvene, people. See, these activities, people love them. All right. Settle down. Put the spaghetti away. Hello, people. We're gonna reconvene. Okay, the winning team, can y'all stand up, please? This team, everyone at this table that put together this structure. Okay. So, I need a representative to come up on stage and answer a question for me. I need a representative from the team. Can we get the microphone, please? Yes. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You as well. You as well.
A lot of your shoes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Hello.
Is it on? Okay, so my question for this team. Hello, everyone. Hello. Simmer down with the spaghetti, y'all. Hello. Look at the little black lady in the cute yellow suit. All right. So this team got their structure built. Two teams. Okay. You built your structure quickly. Tell us about your process.
Well, at first we were thinking to build a box, and then it was, no, we need a teepee, and so the teepee was easy to go together.
Okay, so as far as like getting buy-in from your table mates.
We just said we're going to do a teepee, and everybody goes, okay.
And I just told everyone to grab a stick and put it in, and they followed. I didn't explain it, I just told them what to do.
You just blew my theory all out of the water.
Well,
The collaborative approach, right?
Collaborative effort. We all did it at the same time. The structure held up, and then we didn't have tape, so we used a little twine and put it together.
Oh, so where'd you get the twine from? Because that was not part of the process. Oh, so they cheated.
No, we used the resources that were available.
Clever. Touche. Okay. So I saw, which table are you? Were you in the middle?
I'm in the middle.
Okay. So you were the first table that I saw win. So you have gifts. Everyone at that table has gifts.
Perfect.
Give us your contact info and we will send you.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, do you want this?
Yes. No, we're good. Thank you. Thank you. So ordinarily, as was indicated, we tend to just tell our team what to do instead of asking them what kind of structure we should do. Now, I know this activity was complicated. It was by design. Some teams did not have tape, and that was intentional because I wanted to see if you were going to go to other tables to say, hey, I need to borrow your tape. The power of one, right? And then the other part of that is, how many of you even thought about breaking your spaghetti? So less than a fourth of you have thought about breaking the spaghetti, right? So it just speaks to the power of diversity, right? You could have said, hey, I think we should break our spaghetti. We can do this. I love that this is the twine. This is the resource available, right? But again, that was by design. How many of you are going to go to your colleague, even though you're at different tables, you're in the same room, same industry, and you didn't feel comfortable asking, do you have tape? May I borrow some tape? right? So in order to be mentored, if those of you that want to be mentored, you have to learn how to advocate and ask for yourself. My dad used to say, yes, thanks, Daddy. A closed mouth does not get fed. So I quote my dad a lot, and I didn't realize I was quoting him so much until after he passed away. So a closed mouth does not get fed. So if you need something, you need to ask for it. Team over here that did not have tape on purpose. Who asked for it? Wait a minute. Who did you ask and who said no? Did y'all not hear me when I said be selfish, but to the benefit of others? Do I need to do this all over again? Don't be selfish. Share your resources. All right. So now we're going to talk about practical strategies. So the practical strategies are as follows. If you want to have a culture of inclusion and belonging and collaboration, if you want to have a team that is really truly the 1 + 1 is 1, the sum of us, we need to foster inclusive cultures. We need to attract diverse talent. We need to promote workplace equity. We also need to encourage allyship, but I'm using allyship just because that is a common term, but I really want everyone to be an advocate or an accomplice. I want you all to think about enhancing family support, which is, we talked about this before, most women tend to be the sole care providers, and not just for children, but also we're in the sandwich generation where we're taking care of elder parents as well. Then psychological safety. And so these are some 5 steps, and feel free to take out your phones and do some screenshots. These are some tips on improving inclusive cultures, right? So launching ERGs. How many of you have workplaces that have ERGs? Very few of you. Okay. I encourage all of you to have a workplace that has an ERG that empowers minority groups, minority voices. How many of you have mandatory bias training? That is very shocking that very few. Wow, okay. So again, all of y'all should be taking out your phones doing snap, snap. All right, establish formal sponsorship programs for women and minorities. Create networking opportunities. So, maybe happy hour, maybe lunchtime, chat and choose, lunch and learns, all of those things. Showcasing diversity in external branding. So it's not just about putting a picture of a woman or a black person on your website and think that's okay. It's not okay, unless that represents the culture of your environment. You can't just take a picture of the only black person in the organization and be like, our organization is diverse. It's so not. All right, attracting diverse talent. Building partnerships with HBCUs and women colleges. Right, creating pre-apprenticeship programs. Creating summer programs. Developing pipelines with high schools, because not all people want to go to college. And so you need to capture those individuals who maybe are looking for alternative career opportunities. Developing internship programs, offering scholarships, even partial scholarships. Partner with community colleges. A lot of community colleges have construction programs. Why not have them include a roofing component to that? Promoting trade careers to young girls and underrepresented groups. And I was that professor that I would tell students, I said, you know what, maybe college is not your thing. And there's no shame in that. There's a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great career options outside of getting a traditional college degree. And then also feature employee testimonials. And it's not just about having, black and brown testimonials, but also generational testimonials. So the young person, and I'm calling everyone young because we're alive. The 4th generation roofer, that's huge, right? What a beautiful story that, that legacy, right? So that's something that can be promoted on the website. Promoting workplace equity. So conducting external reviews. We need to talk about pay equity, right? So a lot of companies that I work with, they keep saying we need to improve pay, but they don't even conduct an equity audit to find out what other organizations or other organizations in the same industry in the state is doing. So they will hire my team to do a statewide equity to find out what organizations are paying throughout the state. You need to create advancement programs, like a mentorship program. Like, I'm here, I'm entry level, I need to see a trajectory of where I'm going. Also, tracking and reporting out representation of leadership roles, right? So it's not just about we've hired X amount of, Black and brown people or women, but how many are in leadership? Usually none, or one, right? But if you have 700 employees, why would you only have one woman or one person of color in leadership? Now, I get pushback on this one a lot. When I say tying executive outcomes or performance evaluations to diversity, people push back, which I don't understand why they push back. Because if you're pushing back, that means you're not willing to do the work. So you're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you're not willing to have it tied to your own performance measures, means it tells me something. You need to accommodate non-traditional schedules. I mean, it's difficult in the roofing industry. You have your hours, the time you need to do your things. But a lot of organizations, they can be flexible. So it's interesting because most of my team members are on the West Coast, and I'm in North Carolina. Most of my team members are young. I'm not so young. Say it again? It's all relative. Being young. Right? I still got some pep in my step. May have a little extra, salt, but, it's all good. I'm a little extra seasoned. That's what I say, a little extra seasoned. So, I have to adapt. I know that my team members really don't start work until like 11 o'clock at night, which is 2 o'clock my time. And they know I get up at 3:30. So I will wake up to text messages and emails that I know I have to respond to right away before they go to bed. And so they will send their deliverables to me at 9 o'clock my time, which is 6 o'clock their time, and they're like, okay, we're going to bed now. And people are like, but isn't it difficult because, your team is on a different coast and all of those things? I'm like, it doesn't matter what time they get the project done as long as they get the project done, right? So we need to be a little bit more flexible. Again, difficult in this industry, I understand that. Encouraging allyship. We need to train our leaders how to be more inclusive. Leaders are the one that sets the stage. It's called organizational citizenship behavior. Staff members tend to replicate and duplicate what they see their leaders do. So if we see our leaders stealing pens and notepads and things like that out of the office, we tend to do it too. And I'm a sucker for a good pen. Anybody else? But at least I asked for it. I'd be like, at a hotel, I'd be like, ooh, this is a good pen. Can I have this? We need to form mentorships. So organizations that don't have mentorship programs, I encourage you to develop one. We need to raise awareness through speaker series. Again, COVID has been a game changer for many industries, including speaking, where we can hop on Zoom and do a 30-minute lunch and learn. It's fantastic. Recognize positive examples of allyship. So give credit where credit is due. And then include activism, advocacy, and judging awards in your award ceremony, in your applications and things like that. Enhancing family support, offering generous family medical policies, providing on-site childcare. How many of you have organizations that have on-site childcare facilities? 2? 3? Wow. Okay. Everyone should be taking a screenshot of this and going back to their manager and saying, hey, how can we do this? All right. Hosting key career days. Do your organization still do that? Career days? Just 1, 2, 3? Okay. I encourage that as well. Developing parent support groups, particularly those who are single parents, so offering a support group, and then creating school partnerships for the trades. And the last one is leading by psychological safety, leading by example. Having an open line of communication, practicing compassionate listening, normalize vulnerability, right? So, and this is just human nature, we tend to overshare and gossip a little bit. So if someone comes to your office and be like, oh, this is what happened, don't go blabbing about it to your coworkers. You know, we need to keep things private. If someone is struggling, just say, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? We don't need to share everyone's business, right? We need to have more self-respect in that and respect for our colleagues. And then the last one is addressing bullying and developing anti-harassment policies. It's not okay to have colleagues make microaggressive comments, to say, are you the secretary? Or it's your job to get me coffee. You have 2 hands. You're able-bodied. Get your own damn coffee. And bring me some while you're at it. How about that? All right, so overcoming challenges. We know there's challenges, so here are a few tips to overcome those challenges. Identify specific obstacles. When people say, oh, you know, there's pushback, and I always ask, well, what kind of pushback? Well, we don't know, there's just pushback. You have to ask questions. Why is there pushback? So ask questions. Maybe conduct an organizational survey if necessary. Address skeptical mindsets by outlining how the new policies will work and the benefit of the policies to the organization. Having influential leaders model the desired mindset. And so, again, leaders are the ones that set the stage and set the temperature. And if your leaders are kind of, you know, jerks, then you need to have a conversation with that particular manager. And, you know, in certain situations, it's appropriate to separate, because there's no point of keeping one leader that is causing a lot of chaos and making the workplace culture very toxic. There was one leader who was just a hot mess, hot mess. And the board knew about it, and the board was like, oh, but he's really good at fundraising. Okay, but you've settled how many lawsuits for over 1.5 million? So is it worth keeping a person who is basically fundraising for you all to pay out these settlements? How does that make sense? And the last 2 is frame the journey as continuous improvement. Again, cultural intelligence, DEI is not a one and done. It is a lifelong journey, not only for yourself, but also for the organization, and then providing data to show that it's actually improving the workplace. So it should be a beginning survey, and then an ending survey, and then also monitoring evaluation in the process. All right, so in conclusion, 1 + 1 = 1. We all have to work in unity. We all have to collaborate. We all have to show love and respect to each other. We all have to be compassionate. So, last question. I know you guys are like, she's asking another question. This is the last question. What's one thing from today's session you're going to implement? You're going to take back to your workplace and say, I encourage you all to implement this. So I just need a few hands. Front and center. Do I have any volunteers? Right there, and then right in front, and right over there.
Assess people for their strengths instead of their weaknesses.
Okay, thank you. Right here.
I'm going to suggest the company utilizing HBCUs to find new talent.
Okay, great, thank you.
I was going to say the same thing of not trying to make, or not looking at other people wanting them to be like me, or that one meant a lot to me. because I do that a lot.
Thank you for being honest. Appreciate that. Anyone else? In the back? Say it again. All right now.
I like the idea of moving from inclusion to belonging. I mean, there's a lot of lip talk and training and things like that in our companies, but really, when you see people at lunch, it's the same old, same old. And so I really think that there needs to be a little bit more push to really having that message brought to the belonging stage, like we're all a family.
Okay, great, thank you. And was there someone else?
Hi, yeah, it's me. I think we should all in this room encourage everyone to go home and be fierce advocates and accomplices. The accomplice word is the one I think, because you have to use your voice and your power to help others, not just raise yourself up. That's what I'm taking back.
Great, thank
Be
you.
fearless, girls.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so does anyone have any questions for me? If so, please raise your hand and our microphone runners will ask the question.
Great speech, by the way. What's the coffee order that you get?
It depends on the day. So I actually wake up with songs in my head, and so that kind of dictates like what kind of coffee I'm going to drink that morning. I'm very odd. So I've been drinking the soy pistachio lattes lately. That's kind of been my thing. But I will never turn down a soy caramel macchiato. I will never turn down a dirty chai. Yeah, those are my top three.
So I've been doing mentorship for a little over 25 years, and I have to say thank you for what you're doing and speaking out on equality and bringing women involved and putting them at the forefront, and speaking about the advocacies of how important it is to have our male partners be a part of who we are. Here's my question, though, and I teach all my kids to ask this in every interview that they ever do, or if they ever choose to go out and look for a job other than being in my home. And I say, when you go to, FYI, here's a little tip. If you're ever interviewing with somebody, and at the end of the interview they say, hey, do you have any questions?
Ask the questions.
Here's the question you ask. You ready? You close your ears, open your eyes, look at them and say, do you love what you do? So I'm going to ask you, do you love what you do?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Abso-freaking-lutely. I was actually built for this. Just looking back at my life, I see how the journey has progressed and how I've landed to this spot. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's a lot of long nights, a lot of sleepless nights. I don't cry, so no tears, no blood, but a lot of sweats, a lot of anxiety, a lot of what the hell, why did I quit teaching? But everything is divinely orchestrated. At least I feel like that in my life. I remember when I was going to resign from teaching, I actually heard in my head, this is going to be your last year teaching. And I'm like, no, I love teaching, so on and so forth. And then a series of events happened that I was like, peace out, y'all. Right? So I see these signs and sometimes I ignore them, but I'm getting better about, okay, this is my intuition saying I need to do X, Y, and Z. I absolutely love what I do. This is, again, I was born to be a change agent. This is, for me, this is not like, oh, I'm just a professional speaker. Yes, I speak. Yes, I was a teacher. All of those things, but they're all kind of like magic balled into one. This is what I was meant to do, period. Go ahead. Sorry.
We have become that sandwich generation when we're not only taking care of our children, but we're also taking care of our parents, our aging parents. Personally, my father has dementia. So when we're going through that, how do you address that in the workforce? Because not only are we responsible for our children and the future generations of our country and our industry, but we're also taking care of that generation that took care of us.
Absolutely. So I actually had a situation in the workplace where I took care of my parents, when they were older, and my mother passed away 5 years ago from a stroke. A lot of health issues, dementia, all of those things. And I had to take a medical leave of absence to take care of her. And my employer was like, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? Well, you can just put your mother in a nursing home. I said, but at the same time, this person over here just had a baby and you're extending her maternity leave. So what is the difference between me taking care of the person that gave birth to me and medical leave? And so I don't know what happens in your state, but Washington State now, you can just go online and do a submission of FMLA, whereas your employer doesn't even have to know why you're going on FMLA. So, again, it's about being compassionate, right? Just because a person would put their parent in a nursing home does not mean that that's culturally appropriate for everybody, because some cultures believe in taking care of our elders. We're not just going to put them in a home. And I remember my mother crying one day, and she's like, please don't put me in a nursing home. And I told her, I said, I will be with you when you take your last breath. And that's exactly what happened. The day that I did not have to teach, she got sick.
Well, guys, thank you for the wonderful questions. We are about 5 minutes late on our transition, but
Okay.
Dr. Harden, thank you so much.
Okay, so one more thing. So one, thank you all for your time, but I also wanted to let you know that I am providing a discount code for my book if you would like to order it. So I think it's $14.99 right now on Amazon, and then also the ebook version is available with that QR code. So go ahead and scan that, and you can also join the newsletter if you so choose to do that.
Let's give her a round of applause.
So
you did phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say, though, she had me running like a banshee around this room looking for tape for everybody. So I want to thank Jess and Brittany, too, for being our runners. You guys did a phenomenal job, too. So we have a transition to our education breakout sessions. They start at 10:45. You'll see a sign in front of each that has everything listed. Want to thank you. Well, I've actually been sitting next to the translator. So gracias, and we'll see you next time. Can I say one thing before we leave, guys?